The following video is about a man named Troy and the disturbing things that have been happening in his house. Watch this. It's like whatever's in there can't decide what it wants to do. Troy's convinced it's a demon, and honestly, with the growling sounds he's captured, you can understand why. But then again, why would a demon even be in his house in the first place? That's the question that keeps him up at night. Do entities like this just pick random places to attach themselves to? Or is there always a reason people overlook? Whatever's in Troy's home doesn't limit itself to one spot either. It moves. From the living room to the hallway, and even to places he'd least expect. Take a look. Before the crawlspace door was even opened, look closely at the table. Small movements, subtle signs, almost like something was walking around the room restless. All of this has made Troy absolutely certain he's not alone in his own home. Now, people online have plenty of theories. Some believe something must have been buried under the property before the house was built, maybe the spirit of someone disturbed. Others think it's a classic case of a mimic. a malevolent entity pretending to be something harmless until it's not. And then, of course, there are those who believe Troy might have unknowingly invited something in, through objects, rituals, or even emotions like grief or anger. But things got a lot worse when the activity stopped happening only when no one was home. Now, they're seeing things in real time, and it's starting to affect his son too. Watch this. The boy said he saw a face staring at him from inside the crawlspace when the door opened, and that's why he ran to his dad. Right now, Troy's desperate for answers, for guidance on what to do before this escalates any further. So, if you've ever had to deal with something similar, or know what steps might help, drop your thoughts below. You never know. Your advice could be what saves this family. In this next video, a man shares a strange problem he's been dealing with at his shop. Every single morning when he comes in, he finds his occupancy certificate lying on the floor. Everything else in the shop is perfectly fine. Nothing stolen, nothing moved. Just that one frame. He even went as far as securing it in a sturdy frame, thinking maybe a gust of wind was knocking it down. But no. The very next day, same thing. On the floor again. So he decided to check his security footage, hoping it would finally give him an explanation. This is what he saw. Watch.
So we're gonna trick them, okay, guys? Because again, they knocked it down. Just seeing the video, knock down again. So you wanna knock down my certificate of occupancy, and then you're gonna knock down the price of this too, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So we'll see how long it takes us to do it. Or she. Right, or she. Yeah. Oh my God.
Now, he's starting to think maybe whatever's behind this doesn't want him there, or doesn't like what that certificate represents. Some people say it could be a former occupant, still attached to the space and refusing to let anyone else claim it. Others think it's something symbolic, like the spirit's way of rejecting the idea of ownership altogether. Either way, he's out of logical explanations. So what do you think? Is he reading too much into it, or is something really trying to send him a message? Now, in this next video, a lady moves into her grandpa's house after he passed away. It was his final wish for her to live there. But from the moment she stepped inside, she realized the place wasn't quite what she expected. Her grandfather had one of the strangest antique collections imaginable, from old clocks that still ticked without batteries to faded portraits and porcelain dolls that seemed to stare right at you. Out of respect, and maybe a bit of nostalgia, she decided not to get rid of any of them. And for a while, everything seemed fine. Until things started getting weird. Watch this.
This thing just moved.
Boy, all the talking heads would have been screaming about the Dallas Cowboys and Stephen Fork and in this organization. So again, kudos to the Cowboys going on the road, giving the good win, see how we react. There's a saying in golf, there's no pictures on the scorecard. If you're down, you don't care if it's by 5 or it's going to be like, you're just happy that you moved to 2 or 2. The injury to Parsons, and we don't know anything at this point, he just left right part with the left shoe off. How do you assess what that is? Feels a lot better if he's out. I mean, that would be, if he's missing any significant time, I mean, he's that better. He's a better player.
Oh my god. The door just moved.
33 propels 100 affordable housing laws, including
Early on, much more involved in taking
The safety over the top, and you'll see right down here. Spending ever a free personal Mizuki dessert. An entree plus free dessert, just $13. That's a sweet deal. You can see there's a lot of involved.
Are you real? You can do it again. And won't watch.
If we're being honest, that's one creepy mannequin. It almost looks like there's someone trapped inside. The face twisted like it's in pain. She has no clue where her grandfather got it from, but she's starting to think keeping it around might have been a mistake. Still, before jumping to conclusions, she wants to be sure she's not imagining things. So, what do you think? Is it all in her head, or is there a possibility that her grandpa might have known more about the mannequin than he let on? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. In the following video, a few men were burning down an old house on their property, something they'd planned for months and even got permission from the fire department to do. It was raining that day, the air thick with smoke and steam as the fire began to spread through the fragile old wood. Everything seemed normal until they reviewed the footage. Watch this.
Okay. I'm gonna try and walk in and see what it's like. It's pretty good.
Looked it down low.
You should see it right now. It's amazing. Look to the window. It's like exploding. Hold your breath and go look. Just make sure you can get out because it's pretty cute. It's pretty amazing inside there. Did you look in the doorway?
Yeah, flames are coming out.
No, better not be.
Graham, one better be out there. We're out. Oh, I'm angst. Oh, I'm angst. Oh, I'm angst. Yeah, hey, Graham, all of you get out.
Woo! It's getting out of hand right now. Man, the water's dripping off the house is hot. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, you hear that? Gee whiz. It's like busting the glass out. Look at that. Gee, you hear it?
Right there, through the rising flames, a faint figure can be seen moving, but everyone swears no one was inside when they lit the fire. Some people think it might have been a trick of the smoke or a reflection from the rain. Others believe it could be the spirit of someone who once lived there, finally showing itself as the place was destroyed. A few locals even claim that the house had a dark history, that years ago, a man who owned the property disappeared without a trace, and that this might have been his spirit, still bound to the place. Whatever it was, the timing feels too perfect to ignore. So, was it a coincidence? Or did the fire awaken something that was never meant to be disturbed? You decide. Now, in this next video, a man captures something far from ordinary on camera. Watch this.
Leave. Stop. You gotta go. Shh, 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 shh. Calm down. What are you? Stop. Charlie, come on. I don't even know how to explain what I'm seeing. Holy hell.
The hands on the glass suddenly vanish, and with the way the dog is barking, almost like it's warning him, something's definitely not right. But what he shared later made the situation much more disturbing. He says ever since that night, things inside his home haven't been the same. Faint knocks on his bedroom door around 3 a.m., his phone light turning on by itself, and that constant feeling like someone's standing just behind him. Then it got worse. He'd wake up to find his closet door wide open and the same set of handprints on his mirror, pressed deep, as if someone had been standing inside the room watching him sleep. His dog now refuses to enter that side of the house, growling at something unseen every night. He's even tried blessing the place, but it didn't stop. In fact, he says it made the activity more intense, like whatever was there got angry. Now he sleeps with the lights on and avoids looking at that window altogether. So what do you think? Was that a simple reflection gone wrong, or did he accidentally capture something paranormal? In this next clip, the popular ghost hunter Ian continues his exploration of the old Berlin tannery factory, and this time, he makes his way up to the second floor. Locals say this is the most active part of the building, the same place investigators have long believed holds a portal, a gateway between the living and the dead. When Ian reached that floor, he said the air felt heavier and the energy shifted instantly. Watch this.
Sounded like something in there. If there's anyone in there, could you peek out from this doorway? Man, I get a creepy feeling looking in there. What the f was that? Something just went flying. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Without warning, the severed hand prop flies off the table as if it were grabbed by an unseen force.
That table, right there. Oh my god, dude, that's so freaky. Oh god. There's a dude hanging right there. Who just threw this hand? Are you some kind of poltergeist? That came through the portal? Whoa. Why are those moving? Those should not be swinging. Dude, it feels like I'm in a portal right now. I wonder if this is where it is. Jesus Christ. Could you throw one of these props that are on this table? Throw them wherever you like. How about one of these ones? Oh God. Excuse me. Dead body. Could you move something over here? Oh my gosh. I still can't believe that. Dude, that thing went flying, and I'm pretty sure I caught it on camera. Never did I think I would see a severed hand go flying.
Now, skeptics might call it a draft or the building settling, but there was no open window, no movement, nothing that could have caused that. Some say the second floor is where the worker who died in the factory accident was last seen alive, and his spirit never really left. Others believe it's the portal itself reacting to Ian's presence, warning him to leave before he crosses into something he can't come back from. Whatever it was, Ian said that moment felt different, like he wasn't alone. Now, he's starting to believe the stories about the portal might not be urban legend after all. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. In the following clip, a man is going to the cemetery to pay his respects to his father, but as he walks through a particular section of the cemetery, he notices an accident has happened there. Then, something else catches his attention. Watch.
Damn, man. People gotta learn to slow down. Lucky they didn't hit none of these tombstones. Real lucky. Hello? You alright? You okay? What the hell? What the f is going on here? There ain't nobody there. Miss? Hello?
The sound was getting louder as he approached the car, but looking inside, there's no one there. Later that day, he heard about the accident in the news and that the victims, a man and a woman, were rushed to the hospital, but only the man made it. When he compared the time the incident happened to the time he visited, it was hours apart, so that explains why no one was in the car. Some believe he might have stumbled into what's called a residual haunting, where an intense moment in time repeats itself, like an echo, for anyone unlucky enough to be in the right place at the right time. Others think the woman's spirit may have lingered, confused, or unwilling to move on after the crash. There's even the chilling thought that the sound wasn't coming from the car at all, but from something unseen in the cemetery itself. Do you believe this was the ghost of the woman that passed, or is there some other explanation for what happened? Now, in this next clip, a man arrives home after work when he starts hearing faint voices. At first, he thinks someone has broken into his house, but as he gets closer, the realization hits him. The voices are coming from inside his girlfriend's room. He gathers courage and steps inside, and this is what he saw.
Recién llego a mi casa y se ve la luz acá y había alguien. Pero se lo juro que había alguien. Se escucha. Se escucha. Te estoy escuchando. Se vio.
If you turn your volume up, you'll hear voices. And then, the part that would make anyone's blood run cold. His girlfriend's teddy bear begins to move on its own, its head twitching slightly in a way no wind or vibration could explain. Now here's where it gets even more disturbing. There's an old belief among paranormal investigators that stuffed animals, especially ones given as gifts, can act as vessels for spirits or even darker entities. Some say this is because toys, being symbols of innocence, attract malicious forces that want to twist that innocence into something unsettling. And while you might think this would happen only with old toys picked up from yard sales or thrift stores, in this case, the teddy was brand new, bought directly from a store. When his girlfriend got home, he told her what happened. To his surprise, she didn't laugh it off. Instead, she admitted she had heard faint noises from the teddy at night, like whispers, but she always told herself it was her imagination. Until now. The very next day, things got worse. He returned from work and found the teddy in a far more disturbing position. Watch this.
Se están escuchando ruidos, quiero grabar esto. Quiero que... ¿Qué carajos? No hay nadie, loco. No hay nadie, necesito que vean. No hay nadie. Deja de burlarme, hijo de puta. No hay nadie. Está escuchando ruido. ¿Qué carajos es eso? ¿Qué querés? ¿Qué querés? Cabrón. ¿Qué querés, hijo de puta? ¿Qué querés, hijo de puta? ¿Qué querés, hijo de puta? ¿Qué querés? No hay nadie acá, loco. No hay nadie. Se están escuchando ruidos o pasos, no sé qué. Pero está retumbando todo. Está retumbando toda la casa. ¿Qué mierda es eso? Qué bien no se ve. No se ve la cámara, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? Se desenfoca eso. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Es eso? Muéstrate más, hijo de puta. ¿Qué es eso? Muéstrate más. ¿Qué es eso? Vení para acá. ¿Qué es eso? Muéstrate. Deja de irte. Se acaba de caer todo acá. No sé cuántos son, loco.
That night, neither of them could sleep, and at some point, both of their phones shut off at the exact same time. They tried charging them, switching chargers, plugging them into different sockets. Nothing worked. And then, as mysteriously as they had died, both phones turned back on the next morning. Some say this was a direct display of power from whatever entity had latched onto the teddy. Others insist it was a warning, a way of letting them know they weren't in control anymore. A few skeptics blamed faulty wiring or bad batteries, but even they struggled to explain the voices caught on camera. And so, like many other videos, I'll leave you to decide. Is this the work of an overactive imagination, a clever hoax, or proof that something truly malevolent can hide behind the face of an innocent soft animal? In the following video, a vlogger who some people call Nidun is sharing his latest realization with his viewers when this happens.
I feel like a sick benefit when you have kids is the fact that you can tell them to get you stuff. Like, say he's about to go to sleep, right? And then I'm like, yo, Mari, can you get me the remote? He gets me the remote. He's probably wondering who I'm talking to right now, because he's like, this guy lost his damn mind looking over there while we're the only ones in the room. But it's called vlogging. Oh, you're scared. You think I'm talking to a ghost. Okay, my bad. It's called vlogging. It's called vlogging, so if you look at the camera and talk to the camera, there's actually people there when you post it. I know you see nothing. Oh, you do see something? It's a little creepier than seeing nothing, 'cause... Okay. Okay, chill, bruv. There's no one there. If you ain't talking to the camera, you shouldn't be talking to no one else, because there's no one standing over there. There's no one standing there, so who are you talking to on that side? What are you saying? Who are you talking to? You see people? Do you see people that aren't here? Why are you looking there now? No one's on the beanbag, bruv. Chill, fam, chill. Okay, you scared yourself and you just scared me too, bud. Who are you waving at? No, don't be doing that. There's no one there.
It got creepy when the little boy started feeling unsettled. You'll notice he was looking at different corners of the room with no one there. In one corner, he stares for a long time. In another, he looks and almost starts crying. It was as if there were several people there. Some he liked and some he didn't. Viewers were quick to point out kids at his age tend to act like that, while others shared terrifying experiences they had with their own children, seeing things no one else could. One mother mentioned her daughter stares at corners and then smiles. Another said babies only see angles and jinns. Others speculated that children might still have what some call the veil between worlds thin, allowing them to see spirits that adults can't. Some suggested the boy could have been sensing residual energy left behind in the house, possibly from past events. A few even believed it might not have been human at all, but something imitating a human presence to get the child's attention. But can anyone really tell what a little child sees? Like other videos, this remains unresolved. The following video is about Clay, who moved from a house he lived in for 6 years because he was always hearing knocking every single day. Imagine living with strange activities for 6 years, and he still couldn't find what was causing the strange things in his home. But the new house he got wasn't any better. Finer, yes, but when it comes to strange activity, no improvement. One morning, he's doing the dishes when this happens. You'll notice the chair moves without anyone being there. Right after, he hears a knocking sound. Even after putting the chair back in its place, the same thing happens again. The knock. Then the chair sliding on its own. He later showed footage from earlier that morning with the lights flickering. And while the chair was moving in the kitchen, this was happening in his room at the exact same time. From his years in the old house, Clay knows well to put cameras everywhere. And in this place, that decision was more important than ever. It's like he left one nightmare only to walk straight into another. But there's one detail about this new apartment you need to know. There's a locked door he's not allowed to open, part of the rental agreement. And the strangest part is, he wasn't told why, and no one will say what's inside. Some speculate it could be a sealed off room where something terrible happened. Maybe even the site of a death or violent event that the landlord doesn't want tenants to know about. Others believe it could be an old storage space that holds something far more dangerous, like an object that's been contained because it's tied to the activity. One night, Clay wakes up to the sound of footsteps. Then, this happens. If you turn your volume up, you'll hear them clearly, like someone walking across the room. But Clay was in bed, and he lives alone. Some viewers analyze the footage frame by frame, pausing and zooming in, and claim they saw a shadowy figure walk past. Clay admits he saw it too, but told himself it must have been a trick of the light. But this excuse didn't hold up after the next incident. Clay was up late working on some videos one night when this happened. Have a look. He felt something touch his shoulder, but when he turned around, there was no one in the room. You'll also notice the door moved slightly, but it didn't close. Then, there was a loud bang from inside the room that made him look back again. He checked every room in the house, but found nothing, until he started hearing tapping. Slow at first, then faster, like something trying to get his attention. After he searched everywhere and found nothing, he went back to his seat, and again the door moved, like someone was trying to close it. The most unsettling clip came when Clay had friends over. After a long night of catching up and playing games, they went to bed, but Clay's camera captured this. The pattern was strangely familiar. First the knocking, then the lights, then footsteps, and the fact that clip came from a notification on his camera app that a motion was detected in that area and no one was seen is still fascinating Clay. He showed the rest of his friends and every person swore they hadn't left their beds until morning. So, what was moving, and is whoever or whatever connected to the locked door in Clay's apartment? Let me know what you think. The following video was captured by Sarah and her friend Sean when they went to check out an abandoned building nobody in town goes near anymore. Watch this.
Hello? Was that your stomach? Was it? No. It wasn't?
No.
Baby, stop. No, it wasn't.
That was not my.
What the fuck? What the fuck is it? Are you sure?
I'm not kidding.
Okay. We didn't even shut the door. That's okay. You promise though?
Yes.
Okay. It sounded like a, right? It sounded like it was right next to us.
It sounded like hello.
Yeah, and it sounded like it was right next to us. Okay. Just one more time. You promise that wasn't your stomach?
Baby. Yes.
I mean, I heard you right after go. Alright, well, we got what we came for. I've never ran from something so fast in my life. Wait, I've been recording.
You'll notice the entity replied instantly and knocked back when they knocked, and when they said hello, a voice responded. They didn't waste any time. They rushed out of there, their nerves completely shot. But what they found out afterward made their brief encounter even more chilling. Locals later told them that years ago, the building had been used as a boarding house, and that one of the tenants, a man who lived in the upper floor, was rumored to have died inside after being isolated and neglected. People say he spent his last days knocking on the walls, trying to get someone's attention, but no one ever came. Hearing that, Sarah and Sean couldn't shake the feeling that the knocks they heard weren't random creaks of an old building, but the desperate echo of someone still trying to answer back after all these years. Which makes you wonder, did they walk away from just another abandoned structure, or from a place where someone's voice is still waiting to be heard? Now, in this next clip, a man is describing the strange occurrences that have been plaguing his house when something else turns up on camera. Watch closely.
I've lived in this house for probably close to a year now, and I've never had anything happen here I've never once thought that there was any kind of like haunting stuff going on or ghosts or anything like that. Until a couple weeks ago when I was given kind of a strange gift. I am really into like spooky decor, funeral home stuff, like all that. I love it. But a friend of mine messaged me and was like, hey, I'm at this estate sale and they have like all this funeral home stuff. Do you want any of it? They had an actual like embalming table, which I really wanted, but they were asking way too much money for it. They had all these old bottles and stuff like that. And I said, just give me something. And they ended up getting me these like lab grade like test tube things. And these are like legit Pyrex brand, like super high quality glass, right? Came from a funeral home. So I'm totally into it, right? So I bring them in the house, I clean them up, and I don't quite know where I'm going to put them yet.
While he's mid-story, trying to explain the late-night noises and the odd chills, there's a figure standing just behind the door. Then, in a blink, it's gone. People jump to conclusions fast, calling it a malevolent presence, and it's easy to see why. The man had recently bought a handful of odd items at an estate sale, stuff that came from a closed funeral home. He chalked it up to quirky decor at first, but the soundscape around his house changed after that. Those delicate, high-pitched glass noises you get when a thin crystal or a lamp edge is tapped. A quick tinkle, a soft chime, the kind of clink that makes you turn your head. He'll hear those tiny glass notes echo through the night, check the room, and everything sits exactly where it should. He's no stranger to spooky decor, he collects the macabre on purpose, but even he says this is different. The items arrived silent, the house didn't. Now, with a shadow appearing in the doorway while he talks about it, the line between coincidence and something far darker feels dangerously thin. So, was that a trick of light, a camera artifact, or something that shouldn't be in his house at all? You decide. The lady in the next clip woke up at 4:19 a.m. by the sound of something heavy hitting the floor. A crash that made her heart pound. But when she got up to look, there was nothing out of place. She'd had a recent scare. Someone tried the front door a few nights earlier, so she didn't want to dismiss it. She pulled up the footage from the cameras she'd installed after the near break-in, and this is what she found. Watch. When she posted the clip, a few viewers suggested poltergeist-style activity, objects thrown or toppled by an unseen force when tensions or emotions are high in a home. She wants this to be a one-off, and she's already told close family it's probably nothing and that she'll double-check the hooks. But she also admits she sleeps with a lamp on now and checks the locks twice. So what do you think? Something to overlook, or something that shouldn't be dismissed that easily? I'll leave this one with you. This next clip was captured by another friendly ghost believer who claims the ghost haunting her house actually listens to her. Watch this.
So guys, my door. There's a ghost in my room and it closes my door. It's gonna be a while, but you're gonna see it. Come on, close it. You're almost there. Close my door. Close it. No, I don't want you to open it. Close it. Just close it already. Do it. Come on. I do not have all but close it so I can go to sleep. Thank you, I guess.
Several people brushed it off as coincidence, but she insists otherwise. She says there are moments when she asks the ghost to stop slamming doors or to turn the lights back off, and to her surprise, it does. Sometimes it even feels like the activity changes depending on her mood, calmer when she's calm, louder when she's upset, almost as if it's responding to her. But isn't there a reason the words ghost and haunting are so often paired together? The very word haunting suggests something unsettling, a presence that lingers where it doesn't belong. Still, there are those who believe not all hauntings are meant to frighten. Some say spirits can linger out of attachment, sarmi, to a person, a place, or even a routine. And in those cases, they might not be hostile at all. They might even try to coexist in their own strange way. Others argue that what seems friendly could be a trick, pointing out that a presence that starts off harmless may shift over time, wearing down trust before revealing darker intentions. So, would you welcome a presence like this, or would you be looking for a way out? Now, this next video is about a man who believes his late wife's ghost is haunting him, and he claims he has several CCTV footage to prove it. Watch this.
Hi guys, this is just a quick update because I gotta get to work, but when I got up this morning to get my coffee, I walked into the kitchen and saw this. So I guess you guys were right that activity seems to be picking up because I have been, doing renovations. I replaced all this stuff, this dishwasher, this stove, the oven hood there, but this morning when I came into the kitchen, I noticed the cabinet was open, and then I noticed this chair. So I checked the Ring video, and it definitely
If it really is her, then it seems she doesn't approve of the new renovations he's made around the house. But that's not the only thing he's had to deal with. He says the TV sometimes switches to her favorite shows late at night, no matter what channel he leaves it on. He's found picture frames of them together moved to the floor, almost as if someone didn't want them displayed. And more than once, he's woken up to the faint scent of her perfume lingering in their bedroom, even though the bottle has been empty for years. At first, he thought it might have been comforting, like she was still with him. But now, with things being knocked over, lights flickering every time he talks about moving forward, and shadows caught on his cameras, it's starting to wear him down. So the real question is, if this truly is his wife's spirit, how does he find peace without feeling like he's abandoning her memory? And if it isn't her, then what exactly is haunting him, and how does he ever escape it? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. The following clip was recorded by a woman who runs a cleaning business and spent the day at a mansion where the previous owners said every cat in the house had died in the same room. While she worked, she noticed a tiny movement just out of the corner of her eye, and at one point, a shadow that didn't match anything in the room. She shook it off because the work had to be done, but the house lingered with her. That night, after she left and tried to sleep, the nightmares began. She woke from a shallow dream of tiny paw prints crossing her kitchen floor and of a cramped, filthy room where something small and frightened tapped at a window that would never open. When she told friends, they chalked it up to the day's stress, until the next job proved otherwise.
se golpearon la fría. Oigan, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué podrá ser? No sé si logran escuchar. Aquí ya me han apagado la luz anteriormente. Me da miedo pasar por el pasillo. ¿Escucharon? Hello. Ay, no. Ya me quiero ir, estoy esperando la ropa, ya me quiero ir. Se está escuchando muchísimos ruidos. Escucha que gritan. ¿Qué será? Voy a poner la segunda parte. Se están escuchando muchísimas voces. Me tengo que ir.
The next job she had was at a house where the owner took his own life, and as she finished cleaning, she saw something strange.
Si a donde te acabas de mudar te espantan, has vivido o estás viviendo en un apartamento, miren chicos, esos dedos también se mira como marca de dedos. Es increíble cómo va a ser esa marca ahí si ya limpiamos. Además se ve como que si se hubiera agarrado de allá arriba. No puedo creerlo. Es que ya aquí prácticamente ya se terminó. Nada más es recoger eso y vámonos. Ya vámonos, güey. ¿Escuchaste la puerta? Ya vámonos. Sí. Ahorita te ayudo ahí. Sí. ¿Escuchaste cómo se escuchó la puerta? Sí. Ya nada más nos falta terminar aquí para irnos. ¿Miraste la mano que se quedó en el refri? Está de arriba. Así que, sí, ahí arriba. Ponme un comentario si donde vives espantan. No, ya sé, ya nos vamos a ir. O sabes que haya pasado algún crimen, algo malo, ponme un comentario.
The handprint was too small to be an adult's, and she'd cleaned every surface with bleach and steam. Nothing should have been left behind. People who follow her videos say her job makes her vulnerable, and that the work forces her into intimate spaces filled with memory, lies, and stale emotions. Luckily, she's found a way to protect herself, so taking anything home is not something she's worried about anymore. Now, in this next clip, the popular ghost hunter Ian continued his exploration at a cemetery near Timberlake Road with stories about the woman in white who lost her entire family in a single day and, unable to cope, ended her own life. As he walked deeper through the quiet street, he eventually found the cemetery where her family was laid to rest. And that's when things started happening.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That freaking sounds like children in there. I keep hearing like high-pitched voices. Hello? Ghostly children? Is that you I'm hearing? I definitely have the feeling that I am not alone in here. I am just waiting for something to pop out at me. Hello? Oh my god! Oh god, what the hell was that now? Freaking sounded like something rustling over here in one of these bushes. I mean, it could be an animal, to be fair. Hello? Oh, dude, that was a freaking child's voice again. I'm getting freaked out already. I just barely entered this place.
At first, Ian pulled out his spirit box to try and open a line of communication, but before he could even focus on the static voices, something else caught his eye.
How old are you? What was that? What was that? Holy moly, something just flew by that freaking tree over there. Oh my god, what the heck was that? Hello?
A pale shape drifted just out of view, gone before he could get a clear look. And then, by one of the graves, he noticed something strange. A ball, perfectly still on the ground. Ian swore it wasn't there moments earlier, but as he raised his camera to take a few pictures, what he saw left him absolutely stunned.
Little boy or little girl, whoever you are, could you move this ball again, just like you did? Even just a little tiny bit. That would be wonderful. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! What was that? Dude, something just showed up in that photo. It was a freaking figure. It was standing right there. Standing right by the freaking tombstone. Holy sh**. Oh my god. Holy crap, dude. It was literally just standing there. Vivid. It looked like a little kid. Short in stature. It was almost as tall as his freaking gravestone. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't scare you. You just kind of scared me a little bit. Oh my freaking god. I want to look back at that photo, but I want to keep taking them just in case something else shows up. I think I'm going to take a look at it. Oh my god, there it is. There it is. Holy shit, dude, that's like a freaking figure. It literally looks like a child. Oh my god. It literally looks like a freaking child standing there. Except it's like non-physical. Like a spirit. Oh my god, that is absolutely insane. Holy crap. I have got goosebumps everywhere right now. No way! No way! No way! It freaking just rolled over there now! Holy shit!
This was the moment Ian decided he'd gone far enough. He left the cemetery unsettled and unsure if he had just crossed paths with the woman in white herself, or if it was the restless spirits of her children reaching out through the silence. Either way, one thing is clear. Something still lingers here, and it doesn't want to be forgotten. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was captured by Liv one quiet Saturday evening while she was home alone with her cat. For weeks now, at exactly 7:33 p.m., she would hear scratching sounds. Not the usual kind you dismiss as pipes or rodents, but deep, deliberate scraping, as if something was trying to claw its way through the walls. On some nights, the doorknobs would rattle, lights would flicker in quick bursts, and the cat would stare into corners as if it's following something invisible. One evening, Liv finally set up her phone to record, and this is what she caught. If you turn your volume up and listen carefully, you'll hear the chilling sound of scratches coming from inside the walls. Then, suddenly, objects begin to fall from shelves like a force was shaking the place from the inside out. Now, here's where it gets weird. People are asking why the cat wasn't reacting, and honestly, it's a fair question. But sometimes animals, especially cats, can grow desensitized to long-term spiritual presences, especially if they've been exposed repeatedly. Some experts even believe the spirit may have attached itself to the cat, which could explain its eerie calmness. Liv isn't taking any more chances, so she's made an appointment to have the house cleansed, and because the activity keeps escalating, she has also contacted a private investigator to dig into the house's history. The following clips were recorded by Linda, who has been experiencing strange and unexplained activity in her home. And the strange part? It only ever happens when she's completely alone. For weeks, she brushed it off as her imagination, until the sounds became impossible to ignore, and it kept happening week after week. She decided to set up a camera, and this is what she captured. You can hear heavy footsteps running up and down the stairs like someone's pacing in a hurry, but she is completely alone, and this strange sound usually lasts for about 20 minutes, and then everything goes still. This disturbing activity continued for weeks, growing worse with time, and at one point, it was not just one staircase, it was every staircase in the house, like the entity had grown bolder or multiplied.
You guys, I'm hearing it again, but from downstairs this time. Nope.
Some skeptics tried to discredit her claim, saying the stairs weren't fully shown in the clips. So, the next time it happened, Linda made sure to record the entire stairs.
I keep hearing somebody walk up and down my stairs, but there is obviously nobody there. There's nothing there. And it keeps coming up and down, up and down.
Now here's what makes this truly terrifying. Hearing running footsteps with no visible source is often linked to residual hauntings. It's a replay of something traumatic, usually tied to moments of panic, flight, or even death. It's like the spirit is stuck, reliving its final moments again and again. And now, Linda has admitted that she no longer feels safe staying in the house alone, so she's sent her footage to a ghost hunter, and an investigation is already underway. We wish her luck. A guy named Marcus has been dealing with something far worse than nightmares. For months now, he's been jolted out of sleep by violent, unexplainable events happening right inside his room. We're talking drawers yanked open with force, chairs flung to the side, loud bangs against the wall, and sometimes his blankets being pulled off in the middle of the night. On more than one occasion, objects have flown off shelves and deep scratches have appeared on his bedroom wall. Scratches he didn't make. So one night, determined to prove he wasn't losing his mind, Marcus set up a camera while he slept, and this is what he caught.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave this house this instant. In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave this house.
He lives completely alone, and his bedroom is always locked from the inside before he sleeps, so there's no possible way anyone else could have been in that room. And with the force and aggression of the entity causing these activities, there's no other reason than the presence of a demon. Marcus sent the footage to his family priest, and thankfully, they've scheduled a day for serious prayers and cleansing. We wish him luck in banishing this tormenting spirit. A young mother named Grace has always believed her late husband still watches over their daughter, Emma, who was just a month old when he passed. From lights flickering on during their bedtime routines, to Emma giggling and reaching out toward empty spaces as if someone were there, Grace has experienced enough to believe he visits. One night, she finally caught this on camera.
Go show Mama.
You can see little Emma sobbing uncontrollably, stretching her arms, pointing toward her dad's photo. And whenever she does this, she doesn't calm down until she's holding it in her hands. This video touched so many hearts, and the comments were flooded with people sharing their own emotional experiences and moments they also felt the presence of someone they lost. Have you ever felt something like that? A visit? Or a sign? Because sometimes all it takes is one moment like this to believe they're still out there. Dan and his wife had just moved into a new apartment, and they were excited to start their family and build memories in their new home. But from day one, the apartment had other plans. It's either the light, the tap turning on in the middle of the night, things falling off shelves that no one touched, gentle footsteps when no one was walking, and sometimes soft humming coming from the hallway. Most visitors brushed it off as poor construction or plumbing issues, but Dan and his wife could feel it wasn't structural, but spiritual. After a few months, they reached out to a medium, and that's when they discovered the truth. According to the medium, the spirit in the apartment was that of a young child who once lived there, the son of the original owners, and he meant no harm. With that knowledge, the couple chose to stay, and they even did a few protective rituals around the house, just in case the spirit decides to be violent. Now, years later, even with kids of their own, the family still lives in the home, and they've grown quite fond of their ghostly roommate. Take a look at what this family has to keep up with living with a ghost.
Get a tissue!
I wasn't picking my nose!
Don't yell like that.
I was putting myself on a nose, but I
Look at
wasn't
me.
picking it.
First of all, don't raise your voice like that. Inappropriate. And see, now the ghost is very upset. Don't do that.
That, and there's no ghost in here.
Well, I don't know.
Dan and his wife are still trying to convince their kids that there is a ghost living with them, but the children aren't buying it. They think it's all one big joke, and the parents don't mind, as long as the kids can still laugh it off. And don't start waking up from nightmares, they're willing to let them believe whatever makes them feel safe. I agree, not many people can handle living with a ghost, but Dan and his family, they don't seem to mind, so we wish them luck and hope they know exactly what they're doing. The following clips were recorded by Kyle Anthony after weeks of claiming his house was haunted, claims none of his close friends or family members took seriously. According to them, it was just stress, or maybe the pipes, but Kyle and his fiancée had been experiencing some truly disturbing things, like utensils clattering in locked drawers, the smell of burning hair with no fire in sight, and strange whispers they could only hear when the lights went out. One night, when Kyle was getting ready for bed, the activity got worse. He was just about to turn off the lights when he heard a violent bang from the attic. It wasn't the kind of creak you'd expect from an old house, but a forceful, frantic pounding, like someone or something was trying to break through the attic door. This time, Kyle made sure he went with his phone, and this is what he captured.
Alright, for any of y'all who don't believe that this is real, then I'm just making it up. I'm about to prove it to you. There's nothing up here. nothing up here. Told you.
The force of whatever entity causing this was more than just aggressive, it was invasive. And such violent contacts are often a warning sign the spirit isn't just there, it's asserting its right or declaring ownership. When Kyle got inside the attic, every step he took inside the attic felt like something was waiting. And when he posted the clip online, viewers noticed something he didn't. A glowing orb moving across the screen just before the clip ended. That orb was the confirmation many needed to believe the attic wasn't empty. There was a spirit roaming. But it wasn't just the attic. Every night since then, a strange banging sound would echo from outside, always around the same time, and always from the same direction. One morning, the sound woke them up again, so Kyle stepped outside with his phone, and this is what he saw.
Alright, we woke up to the banging sound outside of our bedroom again. It sounded like it was coming from outside, yet again. But I think I know where it's coming from, so I'm going to show you. Right there. I think it's coming from there. Something is banging on that. It's happened, it happened last night, it happened 2 nights ago. That's our bedroom window right there. I hope there's nothing trapped in there, raccoon, I don't know. But it's been freaking us out, waking us up. So we're gonna take a look. Goodness gracious. I can't see very far down there. Let me see if my light helps. I can't see all the way to the end, but I don't see anything. And that goes around a corner. I don't know if I can even fit between the blocks and that pipe, but I guess we're gonna have to take a look in there. Fuck.
The crawl space was completely empty with no raccoons and no rats, but Kyle knew what this meant. If there was no animal and it wasn't faulty construction, something else was definitely inside his house. Kyle tried to live with it, hoping it would stop, but the activity only escalated. One night, multiple events happened at once. Unexplainable footsteps, appliances switching on, and a door slamming shut when no one was near.
I did not notice that this door opened by itself. I did not notice. I was just trying to get the heck out of here. And to those of y'all that are asking, did I leave my fiance in the house by herself? No, I did not. She was waiting for me on the porch. I told her that when I got in the car, I was gonna film a TikTok really quick. So she went out and waited on the front porch while I backed the car out of the garage. I would not leave her here by herself on a night when this place is lit up like a rave with lights flickering and doors rattling and all that crap. Of course I wouldn't do that. But, I mean, I guess it's understandable that y'all were asking about it. But no. And I have not been in there. I haven't been in this little utility room yet. It's just the water heater and a bunch of junk. There's not going to be anything in there, but let's have a look. Let's have a look real quick. How about it? Into the darkness we stick our freaking hand. Yeah, nothing there. Junk. Bunch of junk. Greatest TikTok of all time, right?
The energy in this room was noticeably stronger, and it could be that whatever's haunting the house is connected to an event that happened here in the past. Or Kyle may have unknowingly brought something cursed into the house, like a thrifted object, or a secondhand piece of furniture. And we know how these things carry dark energy. Things took a disturbing turn days later, and this time, it wasn't just the banging anymore.
Alright, I am home alone, and I am hearing a little kid laughing in the basement. And I do not have children. This is freaking me out. Yeah, you hear it too? Go. Move. We'll try to go down there. Oh God, let's see if we hear it. Goodness gracious. Shit. Do you hear that? Oh my God, that's freaky. I don't have children. And I'm home alone. My fiance just went with her sister To the mall. Don't hear it anymore now. Goodness gracious.
If you listen closely, you'll hear the creepy sound of children laughing, and even the cats are visibly agitated. Sometimes, hearing children laughing, especially when there are no children around, can be a dark spirit pretending to be something innocent to lure you in before revealing their true form. Kyle has not been able to have one single peaceful night without something strange happening, and it was getting impossible to dismiss it as a coincidence. One night, Kyle tried to get some sleep, praying nothing would happen, but something woke him up. Other than what you just saw in the clip, if you look closely, you'll see a faint pulsing light in the glass jar sitting on top of the TV stand, almost like something alive trapped inside, or a contained energy trying to manifest. Experts say when spirits grow bold enough to interfere with light, especially enclosed light, they've grown stronger. And this was really the case because after this night, it became worse.
This is freaking crazy. Check this out. The knocking is happening in the attic. Listen to that. Gosh dang it. The light just keeps... why is this my life? Yo, this is driving me nuts. It's just constant. I don't know what to do. I just do not know what to do. Goodness.
When an expert reviewed this footage, they pointed out something bizarre. The knocks followed a pattern. 9 knocks, then 14. That's I and N in the alphabet for in. Was it trying to say it was inside, or was it inviting Kyle in? Some believe it was trying to possess a space, or even a person. Others pointed out the eerie synchronicity between the knocking and Kyle's emotions, as if the spirit was feeding off his fear. At this point, Kyle was torn between 2 horrifying possibilities. Either something was trying to torment him, or it was desperately trying to say something. But how do you tell the difference? He has tried everything. Salt across the doorways, iron nails near the windows, even burning sage, and it helped for a week until this happened.
I'll watch this and tell me if you see what I see. Well, I thought we had a quiet night, Shelley. Thought we had a quiet night. It was a quiet night. Everything just stopped. Here, play with that.
If you look closely toward the bottom left corner, you'll see a shadowy figure moving, and if you keep watching, you'll see something even worse. The small box was moving. After Kyle posted this clip, viewers were seriously worried, not just about the spirit, but about Kyle's safety. Many warned him that keeping objects like that doll could lead to possession, or even spiritual attachment that follows him outside the house, and they're not wrong. Others are convinced the doll is the source of all the activities, and that the spirit might stop playing games and become hostile. And judging by how things have been escalating, they might be right, because this kind of activity doesn't fade, it grows. Kyle has reached out to a ghost hunter, and the full footage has been sent in for professional review. Hopefully, they'll be able to pinpoint exactly what's been causing the surge in activity and how to get rid of it. But from everything we've seen, I don't have any doubt. There's a ghost in that house. This next clip was recorded by Sammy, who had been sensing something strange in her home for weeks now. At first, it was small things like the lights flickering at midnight, the sound of someone pacing in the hallway when she was home alone, and an icy breeze that always seemed to pass through the living room without warning. But what really convinced her that something wasn't right was her dog. Sammy's dog had always been calm, but lately it had started growling at empty corners, barking aggressively toward the hallway, refusing to enter certain rooms entirely, and even barking furiously at the empty chair that sat facing her bed. Sammy brushed it off at first, until one evening her dog refused to enter her room, and when her dog finally did, this was what happened. People say if you have a chair facing your bed, the dead come to sit and watch while you sleep. And if you leave a mirror facing your bed, you open a portal between this world and theirs. But Sammy isn't too bothered by these warnings. In fact, she welcomes the idea because she's been connecting with spirits since she was 4. But she agrees something was different about this night, so in her next clip, she revealed something deeply personal. Sammy believes it could be her twin brother who her mother lost during pregnancy, and the timing made it more convincing. That night was their birthday, so it felt too timed to be a coincidence. Still, to be sure, she sent the clips to a trusted medium and is currently awaiting a full reading. But the fact that the dog is growling like this is enough reason to consider other possibilities. Because dogs often detect dark spirits faster than humans, and growling, especially at a fixed spot, is a classic sign of a dark presence. We can't say for sure what it is yet, but I think we can all agree on one thing. There's certainly a spirit in that house. The following video was captured by Callie Payne after weeks of experiencing unexplainable events in her apartment. One night, she heard scratching, like fingernails dragging across the walls from inside. Another day, it's the sound of someone pacing on her balcony, even when it's empty. But on this particular morning, shortly after finishing breakfast, she caught this on camera.
Oh my god.
Now, this wasn't the first time her front door had opened and slammed itself shut. In fact, after the first incident, she called an artisan to inspect the hinges, the alignment, even the air vents. Nothing was wrong, and there was no logical reason for the way that door moved. With everything else that's been happening, like footsteps, cold drafts in sealed rooms, flickering hallway lights that seem to respond to movement, there's only one explanation that makes sense. There's a spirit in that apartment. She's planning to sage the entire place, and we can only hope it's enough to send the spirit back to where it came from. This next clip was recorded by an adventurous woman named Amber Nicole, who isn't new to paranormal activities, so she didn't think twice before signing the lease on her new apartment, even after learning what happened there. The previous tenants had lost their mother in that very house, and according to them, her spirit never really left. Every night, at the exact time she passed, strange sounds echoed through the home, soft moaning, then tapping, sometimes a sharp knock. Objects would shift slightly, drawers would click open on their own, but they couldn't take it, so they left. This information didn't bother Amber, so she picked the place anyway, and for the first week, the only thing she had to deal with was the noises. Her best bet was headphones, so she simply wore headphones when they began, but after a few days, other activities started. One afternoon while she was trying to prepare lunch, this happened. Amber believes the spirit of the mother still has strong opinions, especially about how she runs the house. She's convinced that the ghost hates when she leaves the refrigerator door open, and it's not just that. If she places items in the wrong spot, like putting the sugar jar on the wrong counter or misplacing the kitchen towels, before she even turns back around, they're back where the ghost seems to want them. To Amber, this isn't haunting. It's a housemate with very firm rules. And as far as she's concerned, they found a rhythm, and she's content living with the spirit, and honestly, we just hope it stays this way. You ever get that feeling that a house picked you instead of the other way around? That's how Kyle Anthony described it after moving into his new place. It looked normal enough, but something about it just didn't sit right. He'd hear knocking sounds from nowhere and faint voices always at night, but the house was old, so he concluded it was the structure settling, until one day, curiosity got the better of him. He realized he'd never actually checked the attic, so he grabbed a flashlight and found a creepy old doll, a rusted tin bowl filled with plastic eyeballs, and a small trinket box that rattled when he shook it, but wouldn't open. There were other odd objects too, things he couldn't even explain, all just sitting there, untouched. But everything changed one night at exactly 3:45 a.m. when the knocking returned, louder than ever. Then, a man's voice whispered, "It's almost time." Kyle grabbed his camera and stepped out to check. This is what he caught.
Gosh dang it, kitty. Man, I guess we're getting no sleep tonight, y'all. I got woken up a little while ago. As you can see, there was knocking sounds. I heard a voice. What woke me up was, I swear I heard something say, "It's almost time. It's almost time." It was a man's voice. And then I started hearing knocking. So I got up, started going around through the house, turned on the lights on, and you heard some of it. It just keeps happening. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. I swear. What? I guess I'm just gonna be staying up now. Let's see what time it is. 3:45 a.m. All right. I guess we're just gonna be up for the day now.
What really caught people off guard in this footage was the cats. They were calm, completely unfazed, and that confused a lot of people. because cats are known to be highly sensitive to spiritual energy. But here's a possibility. In rare cases, experts say that when a spirit is old, like very old, its energy can become almost residual, like part of the house itself. Some also believe cats are spiritual protectors and are able to detect negative energy, but not always disturbed by it unless it poses a threat. The video was sent to the ghost hunter and is pending review. We can only hope that Kyle receives the help he deserves. This next clip was recorded by a woman named Claire, who recently bought an old barn on the edge of town. It seemed like a dream come true, quiet, private, and perfect for her horses, but every time she went there, it always felt like she wasn't alone. One night, she decided to bring her camera with her, just in case, and this is what she caught. If you listen closely, just before the video ends, there's a whisper, soft and quick, but she swears she was completely alone. And that's not the only strange part. She pointed out that her horse is usually calm and friendly, but this night he was suddenly antsy, stomping, breathing hard, and refusing to go near the far end of the barn. It's often said that animals, especially horses, are incredibly sensitive to spiritual energy, and when they act like that for no visible reason, it means they're sensing something you can't. Claire has now contacted a local investigator, and they're digging into the history of the barn. Not many people would go ahead and live in a house that's surrounded by haunting rumors, so we have to give Lila some credit, because despite everything she'd heard, she moved into her parents' old apartment, fully aware of the stories. According to locals, a man named Ray took his own life in that house back in 1969, and ever since then, people who live nearby have always said there was something off about that place. Every night since she moved in, a shadowy figure of a man stands at her bedroom door. Doors creak open on their own, despite the house being locked tight, and Lila says she sometimes hears dragging footsteps in the hallway, like someone pacing restlessly, waiting, and she wakes up with the distinct scent of men's vintage cologne lingering in her room, even though no one had visited. One night after coming home from work, this happened.
Ray? Hello?
What makes this clip even more disturbing is that the lamp she captured wasn't even plugged into any power source, and with her dog barking at the exact same hour each night, always in the direction of the hallway where the shadow stands, Lila's convinced Ray's ghost is still in the house. She's already contacted a medium to help her figure out what he wants. We hope she gets answers before the visits become something more. Tom recently took a trip to St. Augustine, a city with a long, haunted history, and while he was there, he decided to sign up for one of those ghost investigation tours. But here's the thing, he ended up being the only person on the tour besides the guide. The guide took him to an old building that had once served as a colonial jail, and in one of the rooms where they stopped to rest, this happened. You can clearly see the flashlight turned on by itself, then slowly rolled off the table like someone invisible gave it a little nudge. That night, Tom barely slept, because no matter where he placed that flashlight, in his bag, in the drawer, even on a windowsill, it always ended up back on the floor. But that wasn't even the worst part. He says the whispers he heard got louder the closer it got to 3 a.m. And there was this constant, rhythmic tapping, like fingernails scratching lightly along the metal bed frame, that didn't stop until sunrise. To make it even creepier, his phone's voice recorder, which he hadn't touched, activated on its own, and when he checked the file, there were no voices, just whispers in a language he couldn't recognize, like chanting. With everything he experienced that night, Tom is convinced there was a ghost, maybe several in that room, and after what happened, he's not sure he'll ever do a solo ghost tour again. The following clips were recorded by Abby's family who, instead of a Merry Christmas, got a terrifying one. They were decorating the attic for storage when they found an old, dusty photo album filled with black and white portraits of people no one in the family recognized, and most of the faces had their eyes scratched out. A few days after Christmas, Abby was alone in the living room when she decided to set up her camera, and this is what she caught. If you listen closely, you'll hear a faint whisper, then the chair starts moving on its own. The family's aware they're not alone in the house, and while skeptics online were quick to say it looked staged, Abby decided to respond directly.
So I got a lot of replies like this one, and I just chose one to reply to. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm not trying to fight with anybody. If someone doesn't think this is real or that there is a ghost or whatever, that is fine. Not everyone believes in ghosts. In fact, I didn't believe in ghosts before this happened to me, or not everyone is going to believe everything that someone posts on the internet, and that's fine. I don't have enough time to argue with people. My husband did not just get out of that chair. He was actually coming from the back of the house where he was putting away laundry and was walking through that hallway. I didn't make that as clear like in the first video when I said he was putting laundry away. I meant to say like he was back there. He was not in that living room with me, sitting in that chair. I know a lot of people, for good reason, are worried about me still being in this house and everything. I'm no longer afraid of the ghost or spirit. We'll call her Gertie. I'm pretty sure I know who she is. I have seen her. I won't talk about that right this second because I don't want this video to be like super long. I'm just trying to answer some quick questions, but I originally was afraid of her. I'm not now. I think that she's a good person and that she's just there to maybe like enjoy Christmas. She only shows up around Christmas time when Christmas decorations are out. So I think that she just really likes Christmas and like seeing my kids enjoy the holidays. She had a lot of kids, if it's who I think she was. Who I think she is there were two previous owners before we lived here, and one of them was, I think I replied to a comment where someone said that they thought it was a person in their mid to late 40s, a lady in their mid to late 40s, and I said, oh my gosh, that's the same age as the lady that passed when she lived here. I was wrong about that. She was actually 56 when she passed, but close enough. And they had built this house, her and her husband, and she didn't really get a chance to live in it very long before she passed away. She passed away in the late 80s, so I have no idea. I have searched to see how she passed or anything about her, to see a picture or whatever, and I cannot find one. I have a friend who's a better internet sleuth than I am on it, so maybe we'll find out some more information. But yeah, that's who I think she is, and I do not think that she is harmful. If you have any other questions, specific questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. It's very hard for me to make a bunch of content. I'm a stay-at-home mom to a toddler, and I have 2 older kids in school, so I'm constantly running them around. So when I have time, TikTok is just for fun for me. I will make videos and try to answer all your questions. But thanks so much for having some interest in my ghost stories. I know a lot of people like to hear this kind of thing, which is why I decided to throw it out here on TikTok.
Interestingly, a few viewers backed up her story, claiming they'd heard about the history of the house and its former owners. While it might seem odd to some that her family is staying put and getting used to the paranormal activity, others can't help but ask, what happens when the ghost gets angry? Well, we wish them luck. In the following video, a woman who goes by the nickname Bulldog Mom is in her kitchen, casually watching a Mr. Ballen story on her phone when she hears her daughter shouting in the living room. Watch.
What's that?
What's disturbing about this is that the noise only happens when she's home alone and never when friends or family are around. When she posted the clip online, viewers jumped in with theories. Some suggested it might be a spirit trying to communicate. Others urged her to dig into the house's history, just in case something traumatic ever occurred there that left an imprint. But here's the creepy part. There's no pattern and no timing, just these random bursts of noise. She has reached out to a medium in hopes of getting some answers about if there's a spirit present and what exactly it wants. Until then, she's keeping her phone close, in case the noises return. This next clip was recorded around 3 a.m. when Kurhaz's young daughter suddenly wakes up, and what follows is hard to explain. Have a look.
It ain't nothing, baby. It's a dirty hand.
No. No.
It's the cover, look. It's the cover.
No.
You gonna mommy?
No, no, no.
It's dirty hand. It's my hand.
The little girl looks terrified, and she's staring at something no one else can see. She says she feels something touching her, but there's no one there. According to Kurhaz, this has been happening for weeks now. Every time around 3 a.m., her daughter wakes up terrified, unable to speak clearly, shaking and clutching her arms like she's being grabbed, and it doesn't end quickly. On this particular night, it lasted until 9:45 a.m., and she wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, wouldn't sleep, and neither could her parents. Kurhaz writes, "As a mom, it's so hard to hold it together when something like this happens. They've taken her to several doctors, but every medical test comes back normal with no physical symptoms or psychological diagnosis. But here's where it gets even more unsettling. A neighbor mentioned something that made all this make sense. Apparently, the land their home was built on used to house an old orphanage that burned down over a century ago. Several children were trapped inside and never made it out. And now, every night at 3 a.m., her daughter seems to respond to something only she can see. It's as though a presence is reaching out to her, another child perhaps, who didn't want to be alone. Kurhaz contacted their family priest, and they performed a spiritual bath and house cleansing. Since then, things have been quiet. Just like the last clip, in this next video, Chandler is folding clothes when she hears her daughter, Nelly, yelling from the living room and arguing with someone. Thinking her little girl was just playing pretend again, she goes to check, only to find this. Nelly is yelling at someone or something, insisting it isn't their turn on the swing. But here's the disturbing part. They were completely alone in the house. And what started as a harmless outburst quickly spiraled. Nelly broke down crying uncontrollably, that Chandler had to drop her phone and rush to comfort her. But it took hours before the little girl could calm down. Even then, she kept pointing at different corners of the room, screaming, "No!" at something no one else could see. After finally falling asleep, Chandler reviewed the footage and shared it online. That's when viewers noticed something unsettling. Nelly didn't just fall. It looked like she was pushed. Chandler still doesn't know what her daughter saw that day, but Nelly hasn't played in that room since. Whatever she was pointing at, it made her cry like she was being warned, or worse, threatened. And if she really was pushed, it raises a darker possibility. Maybe it wasn't just a tantrum, and maybe something wanted her off that swing, but like other videos, I'll let you decide. In this next video, Silva is winding down for the night after hosting a small girls' night with her friends. The house is quiet, everyone's asleep, and she's doing a final sweep, switching off lights, powering down devices, and clearing up a few things before heading to bed. But then this happens.
Oh my god. No les miento. No hay nada prendido. Like, the TV's off. The computer's off. That phone is off. ¿Y si oyeron? No los oía. Les voy a enseñar acá. Like, everything is off in here too. The kitchen, la idea está abierta porque la dejé abierta. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Even though every device was turned off, the TV, the speakers, even the phone, she could hear voices that sounded like someone was speaking. On the television, that was clearly powered down. So where was the sound coming from? Some viewers suggest it's the mirrors that are amplifying or even channeling energy from another realm. But not everyone buys that, and in Silva's case, it's hard to ignore the possibility. She later revealed this wasn't the first time strange things have happened in her home, and that she's been haunted for nearly 3 years. So while many urge her to move, she claims the presence in her home doesn't feel hostile, and that being haunted is just part of her routine now. But here's the question, can someone really get used to being haunted? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If there's one thing that's helped prove the paranormal exists, it's cameras. Because while we might blink, turn away, or sleep, cameras never stop watching, and sometimes they catch things we can't explain. Dan had always told his friends there was something off about his house. Doors would slam without warning, lights flicker, but only when he walks past them. And late at night, the sound of someone walking down the hallway, even when he was the only one home. Still, his friends weren't convinced. So one night, before heading to bed, Dan sets up a camera and then this happens. Watch closely. The door doesn't just shut, it slams, with force. And if it had been a draft, the nearby blinds and other things around the area should have moved. But everything else remained perfectly still. Now, combined with all the other bizarre incidents he'd experienced in that house, this footage sealed it for him. He was convinced something was living there. And it wasn't human. The following month, Dan and his family packed up and sold the house. Let's just hope whatever was inside didn't decide to follow them. There's something eerie about buying secondhand items, especially when you don't know where they've been or what they've been through. In this next clip, a man named Luke captures something bizarre happening with his washing machine. For context, he picked it up from a local thrift store a few weeks ago, but ever since bringing it home, he's noticed something isn't quite right. One quiet morning, Luke is on the phone in the living room when he hears an odd sound coming from the laundry area. So he grabs his camera and starts recording. Have a look.
My dryer is not even on and it's doing this noise.
Despite being completely empty and turned off, the machine keeps making this strange noise. What's even stranger is that every time Luke approaches the machine to check it out, especially when he opens the dryer door, the noise intensifies, as if whatever's inside doesn't want to be disturbed. He's had it checked twice by different repair specialists, and both times they said the same thing. The machine is in perfect working condition. So if it's not mechanical, then what is it? Luke is convinced there's something paranormal at play, but some viewers have offered alternative theories ranging from trapped air to magnetic interference. Whatever the truth is, no one really knows, and like many of the videos we've seen, this one remains unsolved. This next video comes from a well-known fitness coach, famous for his intense, no-excuse workouts. But one day, it wasn't the gym that had him sweating, it was something else. On a regular day, while cleaning his house one afternoon, this happens.
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters, apparently, because I've made many videos in this house and I have never had any type of ghost activity, meaning can't see nothing, there's nothing to be heard on the thing, because I know sometimes cameras and voice recorders pick up other noises. Check this out. So here I was recording on Riverside. Listen to this. Tell me if you don't think it's spooky. It keeps going after that little clip I showed you. There's no kids in the house. Partner's not doing anything. I think it's time to do a cleansing. Or Ghostbusters. Somebody come get this thing out my house. Ugh.
If you listen closely, you'll hear a strange, unexplainable sound echoing through the house, and it clearly caught him off guard. He immediately stopped recording and reached out to a local ghost hunter, and also scheduled a full house cleansing, just to be safe. When he posted the clip online, many viewers said the sound felt peaceful, like a calm, protective energy, but he's not buying it. As he writes, "Ain't no spirits, good or evil, living in my house." After the cleansing, he hasn't heard anything like it since, and he hopes he never does again. On July 9th, 2025, a ghost hunter named Moxley sets out alone into a forest known for something few dare to even speak of, a haunted underground tunnel. Locals avoid the area entirely, but Moxley decided to explore the forest at night. Over the years, there have been countless reports, sightings of a woman in a red dress, shadow figures weeping, screaming, and most disturbingly, laughing. But no one stays long enough to get answers. He begins by investigating the forest perimeter, calling out to whatever might be there and inviting any presence to respond.
So you were a soldier. What year do you think it is?
Darkness.
Darkness. Can you see me? You see what I'm doing? Can you come and show yourself to me? Show me who you are.
Still hoping to communicate, he steps into the tunnel, but the moment he sets up his gear, everything shifts. He described it as an overwhelming wave of fear, like someone was standing right behind him, but when he turned around, no one was there.
Who's here? That's literally giving me goosebumps. Is there someone here? Turn me back again. No, seriously.
Wary of him.
Who have I got to be wary of? Every single time I turn me back. Can you tell me his name? Tell me who you are. Every time I turned my back then, there was a noise behind me like something was moving towards me. Was that you moving around behind me? If it was, can you tell me who you are? Move this camera back a little bit. Last time I was here, you said this was your grave, if I'm correct?
Am I dead?
I can't really answer that one.
Out.
Out. Do you want me to get out? Do you want me to leave? I'll leave if you want me to. This camera keeps losing focus. Tell you what, I'll leave if you want.
Shaken, he went back to the forest and encountered something even stranger, a conversation with a spirit that left him with more questions than answers.
It's been said that you like to scare people out of this place. Last time I was here, I said it earlier, you scared me out of those tunnels. Was there something with the tunnel? You're protecting something down in the family. You're protecting your family. Was your family buried down in the tunnels? I keep saying tunnels, there's just one tunnel. Was that your family's burial ground? Are you happy that they started to plant new trees here? Trying to save the land? Maybe you won't be so angry trying to scare people away. I might come back here and camp right in this spot. Would you be okay with me camping out here?
They killed me.
Right, I got that last time they killed me. Who killed you? Tell me their names. You said that last time I was here, that somebody killed you out here. Tell me their names, tell me your name. Getting that weird feeling like you're being watched. Are you watching me?
Still searching for clarity, Moxley made the bold decision to return to the tunnel, and that's when things took a dark, terrifying turn.
Oh, I can't stand in this.
Will you stay a while?
I can't stay in here for a while. This absolutely stinks. Right, this smells of sulphur. And it just smells of pure death. Can you stay a while? I don't think I'll be staying down here. I'm gonna go back upstairs. I can't cope with this smell. No, I need to go out. What the? What the? What the? What the? You there? You playing with me? Right. No. Let's get out of here. That stunk.
He started smelling sulfur in the air, and as they say, when you smell sulfur, the devil's not far behind. Suddenly, he felt a cold breath brush the back of his neck, but when he turned, there's no one there. This time, he didn't ask questions, he left immediately. Could it have been the woman in red who many say is the guardian of the tunnel? Or is there another explanation for what happened down there? Let me know your thoughts on this one. This first clip was filmed by a guy at his girlfriend's apartment after she kept telling him something weird. Every night, around the same time, it sounded like someone else was inside with her. At first, he laughed it off because she said it so casually, he thought she was just messing with him. But one night, she called him in full panic, and that tone was different. So he drove over late at night, and this is what he ended up catching on camera. Watch and listen closely.
But I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now.
This one scared me.
I always say it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs.
You could hear it.
Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
Now here's the thing, how do you handle an intruder you can't even see? Some people watching this clip think it's totally explainable. Maybe the pipes in her apartment bang at the same time every night, or maybe there's an old ventilation system making weird sounds. Others pointed out that in older buildings you can sometimes hear neighbors moving around and it sounds like it's coming from inside your own place. But then there's the darker side of the speculation. Some say this isn't just about creaky pipes or neighbors. This feels like a residual haunting, where the same activity happens at the same time every night, almost like a loop. Others even suggested sleepwalking or shared hallucinations, but the timing is what throws everyone off. People in the comments have been throwing out ideas on how to handle it. Set up cameras in every room, call in a paranormal investigator, bring a priest or spiritual leader to bless the space, or just move out and don't look back. But what about you? If this was happening in your home, same time every night, noises you can't explain, what would your first move be? Now, this next clip comes from a guy named Josh, who finally decided to speak up about the things he's been dealing with in his apartment. Watch this.
Okay, I keep carrying shit up here. Is anybody else home besides me? There's definitely what's coming from. I don't care. I left that on, so that's okay. Not again. I don't want to deal with this. I do not want to deal with this. Nope, not again. Not again, not again, not again, not again. Not again, not again, not again, not again.
He calls it the Hatman. Some people say when you start seeing shadows in your house, especially shadowy figures with hats, it's not just a trick of the light. In folklore, the Hatman is known as a type of shadow person, a dark presence that watches but rarely interacts. Others think it's more psychological, linked to sleep paralysis or extreme stress. Basically your mind playing tricks when you're half awake. But posting this clip sparked a heated debate online. Ghosts don't have shadows. One side insists if a ghost is pure energy, it can't block light, so there's no way it should be casting a shadow. The other side claps back with, no, shadow people are their own category. They're not ghosts, they're entities, and that's why they look like living darkness. It turned into one of those arguments where both sides are convinced they're right. But back to Josh, it's not just this figure. He's woken up to find the cross in his room flipped upside down, heard whispers he can't explain, and says he never feels calm at home. And when there's no peace in your house, it messes with your mind. So what do you think Josh is dealing with? And the bigger question, do ghosts have shadows, or is this proof of something completely different? Like other videos, I'll let you decide. This next video was captured inside a museum in Nottingham, England. And to most people who visited this place, what you're about to see wasn't much of a surprise. The building is home to one of the UK's most unsettling collections of paranormal artifacts and haunted objects. Officially, it's called the Museum of Curiosities, but many still know it by its old name, the Haunted Museum. Early one morning, around 6:18 a.m., one of the security cameras recorded something that still has people talking. Watch closely. A human bone said to be over 400 years old appears to shatter on its own. And with the kind of history this museum holds, it's hard to pass that off as simple coincidence. Because here's the thing, this place isn't just a random collection of antiques. It houses cursed dolls, Ouija boards, and ritual objects linked to witchcraft and the occult. Visitors have reported sudden drops in temperature, hearing whispers when no one is around, and even feeling like they've been touched by unseen hands. Staff members themselves have claimed to witness objects moving, lights flickering, and in some cases, guests collapsing after feeling overwhelmed by the energy inside. So when a clip like this surfaces, the question becomes, was this really just an old artifact giving way to time, or was it something else entirely? In a museum that has a reputation for storing haunted relics, the idea of paranormal interference isn't so easy to dismiss. So what do you think? Was this just fragile history crumbling on its own, or something far darker at work? This clip is about a delivery guy who, in his own words, lives life one day at a time. But recently, his days have been anything but ordinary. For months, he's been trying to explain the strange things he's seen and heard while on the job. But every time he shares his stories, his friends either laugh or brush it off as him being dramatic. Everything changed on the 14th of September, 2022, when he was assigned to deliver at a newly developed site with fresh, unfinished buildings. The place looked quiet, almost too quiet. But as soon as he entered one of the buildings, he began hearing strange sounds echoing from deep inside, footsteps when nobody was there, faint voices that seemed to vanish the moment he tried to follow them. At first, he ran out, unsettled, but he couldn't shake the feeling that what he heard was real. So the very next day, he went back. This time, not for work, but for proof. Have a look.
I'm at this house in somewhere North Carolina. Brand new house. Just has been built. And I was making a delivery here yesterday. I kept hearing something upstairs. And I'm the only one here. I was here by myself. But something kept bumping around up here. Sounded like somebody was walking across the floor. So today we're going to come check it out. See what it could be. It's kind of odd. As you see, nobody's here. I'm here by myself. Nobody's around. Every single room is empty. Closet. I don't see anything that would have been moved or could move that's up here loose or anything. Nobody's here. Nobody's hiding anywhere. Nope, nobody. Nobody. See? Now who the hell is crazy now? Did you hear that thump? See, I'm here by myself. Nobody's here. Just me. What the hell? See, nobody's here. What the hell was that? It's a brand new damn house. Nobody's here. We'll go over in a minute. Still gotta make sure so everybody doesn't think that I'm crazy. I have somebody here with me. Nobody's here. Just me. Nobody's here. He's back out to the hall. Nobody's here. Let's see what could be going on. See, nobody's here. There's nothing possible that could be bumping around by itself or thumping. Nobody, nothing. No animals, no nothing. So, strange how a brand new house is already haunted. Let's see. I just needed proof. But yet again, nobody's here. Proof.
What he recorded stunned even him, and now he's sure that the noises weren't just in his head, they were real, and now undeniable. But he's still worried his friends will dismiss it as edited audio or coincidence, so his plan is simple: bring them along next time. Because sometimes, he says, people only believe what they can see and feel themselves.